good morning, heart and soul. Thank you for being here today, and thank those of you at home as well. Thank you. I want to acknowledge that a community that plays together and works together, that's everything, isn't it? That's part of what makes community. In our case, we study together, we pray together, and so we are truly, by any definition, community. Well, on Friday night, the Youth and Family Village, under the direction and leadership of Reverend Sonia Russell, held our very first family game night. Yeah, and a good time was had by all. And then the next day, on Saturday, folks gathered as part of a cleanup. Here's the thing, in order to be community in the way that we want, there's something about keeping it the way we want. And it had gotten a little rough around the edges. And so a group of folks came together to fix that. We tore down a shed that we've had since we've been here. So 4 years, we got it right after that, and it now was just weather beaten. And so we got rid of that, had a number of things carted off to the dump. Just a good time, and I'm here today to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for playing together. Thank you for working together. Thank you for showing up and being a part of this. Thank you also for your contributions in every way, shape, and form, for your time, your talent, and your treasure. Thank you so very, very much. This is essential because, we are still playing with acknowledging that we are on an adventure in faith. And the adventure in faith requires that we get out of our comfort zone, also known as a rut. Yes, yes, also known as that little crease and crevice where you have gotten really drilled in and rooted in often how it used to be. And so at this point, it leaves you less available to how it can be. So that's the shift that we're up to. And some of the ways, pardon me, some of the ways that we're supporting you in making the shift and breaking free is on Thursday nights. We are offering a class facilitated, led by our own Valerie Joy Fidmont. And in this course, actually, we met for the first time last Thursday. There's still time to be a part of it, but you got to be there this Thursday. So it's created me a clean heart. And dare I say, for such a time as this, a time that is challenging us to be present. Even as we are gathered here and y'all are sitting at home or out to brunch or whatever it is you up to, sometimes we are literally holding our breath in anticipation of tomorrow, in a shift for the United States. And I know we have folks tuning in from other places, but for those of us in the United States, some are celebrating and some are not quite sure what to do yet, and some are in mourning and grief. So we have a lot to work through. And this opportunity, this notion right out of the Psalm 51, this idea of create in me a clean heart. Come on, don't have me be at the effect of the past. So anyhow, that's an opportunity. Not going to try to teach it right here, but want to encourage you to be a part of that. Another thing that is coming up for us as well, and this is our Black History event. And I really encourage you to be a part of this. It's Martin and Music. It's featuring the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and music of the Civil Rights Movement. So it's here on Sunday, February 9th. At 2 o'clock. So we'll have our regular service, and then at 2 o'clock we'll gather for this event. Today is the last day for the early bird special. Get in on it. And even if you're thinking, I'm not sure if I'll be here, purchase a ticket and know that you can donate it. so that someone who maybe doesn't quite have the resource at that moment can be a part of it. What I'm inviting you to do is to do community. Let's support each other. Let's be here for this. It's going to be amazing. And then so it ends today, the early bird special. Then the price is $25, and that's until the day before. And that's because on the day of and at the door, it will be $30 per person. So let's get in right away. If you can purchase tickets for others, then let's do that and scholarship it. Let's just be in community and have a good time as we celebrate Black history. Today, we have, well, you've already been introduced and reminded that Brannis McKenzie, a founding member and our founding Minister of Music Emerita, is our musical inspiration today. And the two songs are about love. The two songs that she is offering us today are both about the transformative power of love. And they're both entitled Only Love. Why? Because only love. And both are written by Heart and Soul members. So Brannis wrote, let me think, the first one is Brannis's. And then the second one will be Tammy Hall wrote it, and then Brannis added lyrics. So I'm so excited about us grounding. I am enthusiastic beyond. And you know, enthusiasm is filled with God. And so I am in this place in anticipation of only love. Brannis?
The essence of our spirit. Only love requires and nothing in return. The measure of the love we share is simply more the same. The answer to the questions you ask will always remain. Yeah, only love. Only love. Only love. Only love. That's all there ever was. If the tables turned and we became the other, and we questioned what the hell was going on, we could stop and ask the question, what does every life require? And the answer would be love for each and every desire. Yeah, only love. Give love a chance, give love a chance. Only love. Your soul will dance, your soul will dance. Only love. Consider this, consider this. Only love, that's all there ever was. What is it that takes me from A to B, that opens my eyes so that I could see the world in a new, in a different way? It's love, love, love. That's why I can say, yeah, only love. Give love a chance, give love a chance. Only love. Your soul will dance, your soul will dance. Only love. Consider this, consider this. Only love. That's all there ever was. question what the hell was going on. We could stop and ask the question, what does every life require? The answer would be love for each and every desire. It's only love, everybody. Only love. Give love a chance. Give love a chance. Only love. Your soul will dance. Your soul will dance. Only love. Consider this. Consider this. Only love. That's all there ever was. That's all there ever is. Love.
That was Brannis McKenzie, Only Love. And sometimes I like to just remind you of the lyrics that we've just heard. Brannis wrote and then sang for us, if the tables turned and we became the other, and we asked ourselves, what the hell is going on? Now, this is very real, isn't it? Because there is a point, my sense is in everybody's life, where we've othered folks, and then something happens in our lives where we have an experience that has the combined sense of us being the other that we had just pushed aside, that we had just judged, that we had just stood in some place of deference. Yes? And we ask ourselves, what's going on? She wrote, we could stop and ask the question, what does every life require? And then she says, the answer would be love for each and every desire. Is this not perfect for us, for this day, for this weekend, for the entree to a change where there's so much energy, where there's so much stuff, in a manner of speaking? Y'all understand stuff? Yes? Y'all understand stuff? Stuff? The idea, what I'm doing is I'm choosing not to name it. We just going to be in prayer about all the names and labels we can put on it. Yes, yes. And so, look, I think it's important, or I invite us to acknowledge that everybody's not feeling the same. This notion of when we become the other. Every 4 years. Have I gone too far? Good. Good. Then I'm on track. Every 4 years, someone becomes the other. And they go through. Now, some of us are partying in the street, and others are in fetal position. And so this is where, according to the brilliance of Brannis's lyrics, we ask ourselves, what the hell is going on? Not externally. I'm suggesting that that's an inner question. You know, this year's theme is from the inside out. So we ask ourselves, so what the hell is going on with me? That I am believing and saying and setting up in opposition to the very principles that we teach and endeavor to practice. Exactly what is going on with me, that I am saying the things, believing the things, setting the things in motion that I know are not beneficial for me or anyone else. Yeah? Yeah, part of me wants to reach for this mic and just toss it. Because what I think is often those kind of mic drop moments are the moments when we realize that that's a truth that we've acknowledged and just not been willing to say ourselves. It resonates so fully because it's true. And we know it's true. It's not news to us. It's just that, oh Lord, somebody said it out loud. And that's what I'm here today to do. I want to begin, well, I have begun. And yet, I want to acknowledge that tomorrow is the national holiday honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Now, his actual birthday was last week. However, can I just express to you how grateful I am that it's tomorrow? Would that be okay if I just reveal that, lift the veil, and thought, thank you, God? You know, that this perfect correlation, this perfect way that things can come together, because I think it illuminates. Now, I've been giving this a lot of thought because I'd gone through my own personal kind of grieving, and then I watched myself making stuff up. Now, if I was that prophetic, I would be living a different life. But what I found myself doing was, as the result of an election, I had decided I could tap into my prophetic powers. And I was busy predicting and prophesying what this would mean. The truth is, I do not know. I do not know. Nothing has changed but the election and the future occupant for the White House. Now, there's lots of rumors, but there always have been, about how it's going to be. We've been through this before. What's interesting is this is an opportunity to see, what have we learned? Someone could consider this a pop quiz. Because in a sense, we've been here before. Do not play with me this morning, y'all. Do not act like we haven't been here. We have been exactly here. Yes? And I've been trying to figure out how to say this, and I haven't figured it out yet. When the last time we were on the precipice of the transition, and those of us who were not dancing in the street about it, we made stuff up, some of which unfolded similar to our imaginations, and some of which never happened. Now, don't act like. Come on, if we're going to do this, we have to be straight up about it. We have to tell the truth. Is there anyone for whom it was 100% exactly what they had placed in their imaginary fear bubble? And yet you're back here doing it again? Oh yeah, this is a specific look for each and every one of y'all. The look of, really? Did it work for you the last time? Were you that successful at it? That's just going to be how you do it? It's not too late to drop it. I mean, like it's hot, because it is. And it's keeping us from our joy. And if we intend to have the kind of 2025 that we're here to have. See, maybe this is important for me to say. 2025 is not an invitation to your sorrow. Somebody gets it. And yet we are acting as if it is. Some of us are tipping up on 25 in our grief, spilling it so we get to walk through grief for the year as we envision it. Now that I've outed you, does it sound like anything you really want to do? So my sense is that what we want to do is what Brent is saying, give love a chance. Give love a chance. It's from the inside out. So I'm not there. I don't have anyone to name for you to love other than you. Start there. Because here's the thing. Here's what I have noticed. Is that for the ones who love themselves and are operating from that. Now, I can't tell by looking the degree to which, but the behavior is different. The behavior is different. The words are different. Yes, see, when we think about the 10 Commandments and this idea of doing unto others as you would have, I only want that done as if you love you. Because otherwise you are dangerous. None of us are safe. If you are doing unto us as you do unto you, oh Lord, no. Stop them, please. Is this making sense, y'all? So once you get to the point where you are in touch with your own divinity, oh, then I want to be first in line. For you to do for me like you do for you. But before you tick that off, I'm at the back of the line, hoping you get healed before I get up there. Yes. Thank you, Pam. Thank you. So look, when I think about honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I feel like this is a great launching pad. You know what I mean? But before we jump into whatever we think is next, if we dip ourselves, if we douse ourselves, if we immerse ourselves in his teaching, first of all, it's nonviolence. And if we talk about nonviolence as what it really is, it's not about, I'm not going to hit you. Although some of us think that that's what it is. It really is a whole different heart space. It's a different mindset. It's not about what you won't do. It's about who you are and how you see yourself. Some of us are more and more, I over the past decade, for a while, when I have had the honor of an invitation to speak around January for Martin Luther King, or even in Black History time, but this would be pre-holiday. This is pre-national holiday. And what I found was I was more and more in the room with people who were not alive when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was. and I'm off point now. So, look, there's so much. It doesn't matter if you've ever heard him speak live. It doesn't matter if you personally have recordings of his talks. What we're talking about is getting to changing our heart. Not the muscle in our chest, but changing our heart, mind, how we're thinking, how we're feeling about ourselves and each other. Yes, okay. So look, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, we are able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. Now we can move to the celebration tomorrow and act like we don't know this. But this is an action step. This is not an invitation to sit back and let's see what happens and then react to it. This is acknowledging that there's a mountain of despair. Does anybody have an understanding in their own life of a mountain of despair? And it might not be, when I say in your own life, I don't mean just like your personal, maybe nuclear family life. I mean in your living. So it could be in the cultural, political, socio-political space. Do we have any awareness of a mountain of despair? All right. So what is he saying to you? He's saying, when you acknowledge that, know that you also are able to what? Hew. That hew is about working. You got to do something. This is not you wait for the hope to break off on its own. This is you got to get in there and get it. Within that mountain of despair is hope. And it's up to you to get in there and get it out. Oh, you better ask somebody this morning. I didn't even know. Yes, Lord. Yes. Yes, that it's up to each of us. And he says we're able. Each of us is able. Whatever the mountain of despair is, you name it. Within it is the hope you seek. Is the hope that can be that seedling of what's possible. Yes. Y'all making me work a little hard. I wish somebody text Suzette. So look, help them out, girl. Look, one of my favorite songs is on the soundtrack from The Prince of Egypt, and it's When You Believe. And one of my favorite lines in that is, though hope is frail, it's hard to kill. So can I put those two together? So Dr. Martin Luther King is saying it's up to each of us to hew out of our despair, out of our disappointment, out of our fear and doubt that we have mushed all together into a mountain of despair. Have we not done this? Don't make me call names. Have we not done this? Have we not put our fears and our doubts and our concerns and our past and all of that together, mounded it up, and voila, we have our own personal mountain of despair. Dr. King gives us the good news, though. Within that is the hope. Within that is what you need for the next step of the journey. So it's not to let that mountain of despair cause you to freeze and be paralyzed in it. It's instead to get whatever tool you require. A favorite tool for me is affirmations. For some, it's meditation. For some, it's the lyrics of a song. Oh, I consider that part of part of my affirmation. Some good lyrics that help me to see beyond, to feel something more than the despair that, frankly, I have put together and mounded it into the mountain. Does that make sense? All right. So look, our friend Opal Palmer Adisa, in her book, 365 Days to Honor Yourself, says that we must understand that needs are not temporary but protracted. I know y'all don't need me to translate that, but it means you're going to be at this. This isn't a run in there quickly and move it around a little bit. Protracted means you're going to set up, get your snacks, pack the lunch. You're going to be here a while. You're going to have to work on this. But all transformation is like that. It requires that you bring your fullness and get into it so that you are then transformed and can hold the shift for the long term. She says that if we really are about helping, if we're about making the shift, then, like raising a child, we're there for the long haul. A lifelong commitment. She writes, if only we can live each day with an attitude of generosity. I love that because it sets the tone for our honoring of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. You know, it's a day of service. And so that comes from a place of generosity. What if it wasn't just an annual? What if you walked with, lived with, moved with this daily thank you, this sense of generosity, of there's something I can help with? Time, I can give of my time somewhere where it can make a difference. Heart and Soul had as our year-end project for our giving from our overflow, which is our outreach giving for community organizations. We decided long ago at our inception just about that it made more sense for us to give of our tithes and our gifts that we have received. Heart and Soul doesn't have any special money of its own. We have what we've been given. And what we decided is that we would always give a portion of that. Our aspiration is to give 10% of whatever we receive to community organizations who are doing the work that we'd love to do. Now, we could create a food bank. Who in here is a food bank professional? And that's nothing against folks who do, who it's their passion. But we thought there are people who really got the food bank thing down. And the working with the unhoused. We could begin something. But there are people who have mastery and experience all of the systems in place for that. And if we just support them, we feel like that adds something. And so that's what we did. We chose two organizations. We chose the Alameda County Food Bank for half of it, and the other half went to BOSS, which is building opportunities for self-sufficiency. Yes, I mean, if we work this together, we can get it done. Yes. And it's because they are doing the work. So with an attitude and an intention of generosity, this spirit of generosity, and it's not just at the end of the year that we give. There are times throughout the year as well. So this is the idea here. So look, I've been thinking long and hard about this about tomorrow. You know, and just because it's just been on my mind. Just how to reconcile, you know, what do I do personally, and also as a leader of a community, what do I do? How do I speak to this convergence of an inauguration and the national holiday honoring Dr. King's birthday and his work? It's not just a happy birthday, Dr. King moment. It's really honoring his life work and modeling some of that. It's that spirit of generosity, of giving, of serving, yes? Whew. So it's been a lot. And I was inspired. I read a piece by a journalist, Aaron Harris, and that helped me to frame my own thinking. Because so often I was like, yes. And so I want to share some of what has come to me. That part was I remembered, and part was also my opening to what's helpful for us to know, for me to share. And what I came up with is this awareness that the King holiday, the national holiday, this is only the third time in history that we've had an inauguration on the holiday. Now, we've only had the holiday for so long. So come on now, I need you to come go with me, y'all. Yes, so we only had the holiday for so long. So it's not like I don't want y'all going way back in history trying to figure out when the inauguration was on January 20th, because it didn't count until there was a national holiday. So that's the convergence that I'm talking about. And when I realized that the two other times prior to tomorrow were Bill Clinton's second inauguration and President Bill Clinton's second inauguration and President Barack Obama's second inauguration. They both fell on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Thank you, God. Because that gave me a place to land. Can you hear what I'm talking about? So if you do the work, you'll find the joy. It gave me a place to land. So look, because tomorrow really is highlighting two very different legacies. President Donald Trump has a certain legacy. I'm not even, because y'all know, just Google if you don't. If you're like, I don't know what it is, say it, Google it. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., whose words and actions 6 decades ago, yes, helped to usher in a time and experience that is more free since it happened. Now, I know some of you youngins are like, what? It's true. For those of us who were there and those who are students of history, we know that there's a difference post, and not post Dr. Martin Luther King, but post bus boycott, post March on Washington, post sanitation workers strike. There's a difference. So we got a couple of legacies that are, somebody would say, popping off simultaneously at the same time. Yeah. So look, I'm trying to find myself here. Okay, so in 1997, and I love that President Clinton's second, because there was a sense of inclusion. I'm going to remind you that the Grande Dame, Jessie Norman, sang at the inauguration. Yeah, so there was some representation is what I'm getting at. It was a time that while we weren't necessarily using the term inclusion in the way that we use it now, we can certainly recognize that. And at both second inaugurations, the 1992 and the 2013, both presidents in accepting, in going through their second, also cited Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So he was felt in that. Clinton literally called King's 1968 speech words that move the conscience of a nation. So it's invoking his gift. I needed this as foundational for my own transformation. Yes, he said that King's dream was the American dream. Now, we knew this. Those of us who were actively engaged in 1968 and around that time, we knew this, but nobody was saying it from the world stage. You understand what I'm saying? In fact, what many were saying about King would not have even created the space for that to coexist as an idea. Yeah? So I love that the president at that time is invoking this awareness because the world is watching. This was also his second inauguration. I believe it's true that it was also the first time that it was on the internet. Not live streamed, but there was something, it was represented there in 1997. So he said his quest Meaning, this is President Clinton saying that King's quest is our quest. The ceaseless striving to live out our true creed. Now remember, we're going to have to hew the hope out. This is what I'm doing. This is my version. I'm modeling the hewing. Yes? How are we going to do this? How are we going to shift our personal awareness of what this all means? It means something, but you get to determine what it means to you. And be careful. Be very careful and cautious with what you come up with. Because in that moment, you aren't doing unto others as much as you are doing unto yourself with whatever you come up with. He said, Clinton also said, our history has been built on such dreams. Like Dr. Martin Luther King's dream as he articulated, and labors, the work. And by our dreams and labors, we will redeem the promise of America in the 21st century. It ain't over. It ain't over. It's not nearly over. So here we have an aspirational affirmation. Who's going to pick it up? Who's going to pick it up? Are we still waiting on Bill Clinton? Are we expecting that, well, you said it, or you, who we waiting on? We waiting on Donald Trump? Who we waiting on? Each other. We are the ones. Come on now. Look, so for President Barack Obama's second, his theme was faith in America's future. Oh, thank you, God. Because where else would we want to be but in faith in America's future, even now? Is this the moment you thought you'd turn tail? Do y'all know what turn tail is? Okay, all right. Is this the moment you would give up? Is this the moment you're going to turn it over to somebody else? When has it ever been done by the occupant of the White House? Has it not always been the people? So is this when we're going to abdicate our power? Okay, some of y'all looking like, well, I had thought I would. This is why I am so reliant and grateful for y'all at home. Because I know y'all not fooled by none of this, none of these shenanigans. Are you fooled by? So look, in 2013, President Obama wove King's story into the American story of multiracial, multigendered social justice and progress, telling the audience this, and I quote, "We the people declare today that the most evident of truth, that all of us are created equal, is the star that guides us still." Did he mean just in 2013? Okay then. Still means it's ours, that we can lift the part we can lift. Yesterday, when they were doing the cleanup, everybody couldn't do everything. Everybody couldn't lift and carry, but the folks who couldn't did the stuff that they could do. Same. There's a part for you in this notion of, he goes on to say, just as it guided our forebears through Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall, you better be inclusive. You better cover all the ground. Yes? Yes, because all of those were times and experiences of difficulty. Would that qualify for the mountain of despair? Some of those experiences absolutely would be included in that, yes? Just as it guided all those men and women, sung and unsung, known and unknown, who left footprints along this great mall. To hear a preacher say that we cannot walk alone, to hear a king proclaim that our individual freedom is inextricably bound to the freedom of every soul on earth. That's saying something. This notion of doing unto others as you would have them do unto you is because we are in this love together. We're in it together. None of us is going to fly off, leap off with great success, leaving the rest in the ditch experience of life. We're in this together. None of us is safe unless we're all safe. And that's up to us. That's up to us. Watch what you say, Oaklanders. I live in Oakland. You better watch yourself. Because every time you affirm some mess, you're giving weight to it. You're concretizing it. You are calling forth some energetic presence around it that doesn't exist until you feed it. Y'all know that lovely story about the two wolves. The two wolves. And the story is being told by, I'm going to say the I said, I'm going to say, but thank you. As Pam said, the story is often told like the Native American grandfather is telling the story. And I always picture it to children because I want there to be more who are hearing it. And he's telling the story about the one wolf who is, I'm going to say greedy and vicious, and we're describing all of the things that we see in present society, in current company, if you will. And then he describes the other wolf who has a calmness and a stillness and an openness and a way of living life that is productive and beneficial. And then, of course, in his telling of the story, the kids are like on the very edge of their chairs, and they're like, and what happens? Which one wins? Because they're going to fight. Which one wins? It says the one you feed. And it's our ideas, it's our mindset, it's our heart set that determines, that's how we're feeding it. We're feeding the ideas of devastation and despair. Or we are feeding ideas of hope and love and possibility and beneficial outcomes. Yes? Yes. The title of Dr. King's last book, the one published in 1967, asks us in the title, where do we go from here? Chaos or community? Think of the two wolves. Which one will you feed? Will you feed the chaos, or will you feed the expansion of community? A time earlier than that, Dr. King said to us that we must learn to live together as brothers and sisters connected, or perish together as fools. Where do we go from here? That's a question for all of us. I remind you that when we started this year off for the last couple of sessions, this is an expansion of what we've been doing in honor of Dr. King, because I can see how it benefits us to have this awareness. But I offered you last week before, a quote by Neville Goddard, assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Now watch what that is. Because let me say it differently. Neville is talking about intentionality. So this is where you have a wish that's conscious and intentional, and you now are assuming the feeling of that. You're taking it on. You have you already have the mental, so you've added the emotional, the spiritual. And that combination is the formula for manifestation demonstration. If you are thinking it and you're feeling it and you are knowing it, capital N, capital K knowing, yes, capital KNOW, knowing. When you do that, it shifts your energetic presence. And our energetic presence is always magnetic. So when you come in with depression or negativity, you're magnetic. You will draw energy to you, and you will be drawn to energy like you are feeling, which is why you can emerge from it declaring that everybody's depressed. Nobody want it. We all feel that, but it is true for you and your little magnetic experience. But all the world, the universe, is not contained in your magnetic experience. Yes? So Neville is saying when we assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled is using your imagination creatively to bring into your world, draw to you that which you desire to experience. So be very careful about this because it works no matter what. You see, he's only talking about the intentional use of it. But when you are in your prophesizing about what's going to happen by next year and anybody getting Social Security, you just sit down and hush. And fix your mind and heart on the kind of outcomes that you want to have. Why would you, as an example, Medicare, Social Security recipient, why would you be out leading the charge on how it's no longer going to be available? Why would that be your part-time job? Unless you are campaigning for that as an outcome. But most often, everybody I have heard predict some stuff, they don't even want that to happen. And I'm like, how much time do you have that you can invest this time on what you don't want? Because having invested this time on what you don't want, what you do want will require your first getting rid of that other thought. All right. So that means you now have doubled your work. And I'm like, who are you to be working that hard and put my benefits at risk? I'm like, stop it. Stop it now. And be aware of how we're using our imagination. That same imagination can imagine peace, can imagine joy. I mean, go for it. What would peace look like for you? Not for the whole universe yet. You haven't developed it to that degree yet. Don't go to universal as your first feat. Let's just start at your house. All right. The neighborhood is too big for the first effort. Start at your house. Like in your bed, for example. Start right there, personal. What would peace look like happening right there? What would joy look like? What would unconditional love look like? So before we start getting out there for the whole universe and transforming that, take your time. Because as you transform you, trust me when I tell you the universe is transforming simultaneously. Why? Because we are the universe. We are the universe. So we'll get there. It will all happen, but you got to do your part, and it's going to start right there. Well, let me not even say your house, in your car. Your seat on public transportation. You don't have to worry about the whole BART system, the whole AC transit system. You're just going to focus on the seat you're in, the pole you're holding on to. You understand what I'm saying? This is like highly personal in our transformation. He says we can, no, I'm not even going to, I ought to take that line off because we're not at the point of revision yet. We'll get to that another time. But look, I'm going to use Opal to kind of take us home with this. She offers for today, the date, it's a 365-day reader. And so her message for today says, success requires our undivided attention. Come on now. You're going to have to turn something off. You're going to have to withdraw your attention from something that's not paying off in the way, something that's not supporting your visions, your dreams, your hopes. Yes? It requires our undivided attention, our persistence and commitment to greatness, joyous zeal, altruism, and most of all, our belief that we can and will succeed regardless of the naysayer. Yes? All right. So Dr. King offers us this quote. Our beloved Makani Timba and I were talking yesterday, I guess it was, and she said to me, this is one of her favorite quotes, and it occurred to me that this is perfect for such a time as this, where Dr. King says, our nettlesome task is to discover, to have revealed through us, by us, how to organize our strength into compelling power. So today, I say to you, each and every one of us has strength. Each and every one of us. And it differs person to person. But our individual and collective goal is to organize our strength into compelling power. Some would say that the most compelling power that we have, the greatest strength we have, is love. It's love. So Tammy wrote this song, and Brannis wrote additional lyrics. So it's music and lyrics by Tammy, and then Brannis was a part of this, and I love this. Part of the lyric is, do you close your eyes and heart because you think there's nothing for you to change or do? I'm coming for you. In the lyrics, I say in my defense, do you close your eyes and heart because you think there's nothing for you to change or do? Do you close your eyes and mind and wonder why it seems the world has nothing left for you? Only love is what matters. Only love is real. Only love can heal us. Brannis McKenzie.
Thank you, Rev. Would you turn and walk away from the soul that's crying out for compassion? Would you cross the street in fear just because my brother's skin is not like yours? Do you close your eyes and heart because you think that there's nothing for you to change or do. Do you close your eyes and mind and wonder why it seems the world has nothing left for you? Only love is what matters. Only love is real. Only love can heal us. Only love, only love. Could you ever sing a song and not remember that the melody is in your heart? And could you ever hold a child and think of anything but goodness, just for goodness sake? And have you ever seen the sun rise above the sea and not remember that life is good? And have you ever felt that moment when the breath you breathe is everything, almost more than you can hold? Only love is what matters. Only love is real. Only love can heal us. Only love, only love. Tammy Hall. Only love is what matters. Only love is real. Only love can heal us. Only love, only love. Only love, only love. Tammy Hall.